Marc Emery can be
Hi everybody, Jodie Emery here. I'm, as you know, Marc's wife. And Marc has been in jail at the North Fraser Pretrial Centre out in Port Coquitlam for the last about 7 weeks. And he hasn't been extradited yet, but that could happen as early as next week. And we're trying to get Marc out on bail just to be with me for a few days before he has to surrender to the United States. But we've had so many problems along the way, just obstacles. The Crown prosecutor will call in sick, and then we'll appear for court, and it's been scheduled for the next day. And then the lawyer we get, our lawyer Ian Donaldson, the extradition expert, he's a wonderful man, but he got pleurisy of the lung and he almost died, so he's been in the hospital all this time. And our good friend and lawyer Kirk Tusaw has been taking care of this for now, but he's at the International Drug Policy Conference down in Albuquerque, so we've had to get other lawyers to fill in, and it's just been one problem after another. First, the Crown wasn't going to oppose, and then they said they would, so we had to get files together. And today I just went to court, and they told me, well, 10 minutes beforehand, the Crown calls in sick. So it's put off until Tuesday next week. And unfortunately, the Justice Minister of Canada, Rob Nicholson, could sign the extradition papers as early as next Monday anyway. So Marc may be asked to surrender into American custody in a week's time, or it may be longer than that. We don't know. We don't get any information, but Rob Nicholson certainly doesn't care for Marc and isn't going to do him any favors. But we do still urge you to contact him and tell him to not extradite Marc, because we need them to know that there is a large group of people who are completely offended by this. Now, while Marc's been in jail, there's been a vigil outside. It started as a rally on the Saturday after he surrendered, and it's been going strong. It's a whole tent city. They've got an outhouse, they've got a couch, heating, internet. They get food from the Tim Hortons and Burger King down the road, and a lot of people go by honking all day long, hundreds of honks. And we've got flags up, the Cannabis Canada flag, but also the Canadian flag, to remind people how this is about our Canadian sovereignty, and this is a Canadian citizen being sent off to a foreign country. So the vigil's been there for weeks, and I want to thank them all for that, and people are welcome to stop by. And at the same time, Marc is calling in and doing regular reports and podcasts. If you go to cannabisculture.com, you can see the little prison podcast image. Click on that and you can hear Marc report from what it's like inside jail, or his thoughts about war and his father on Remembrance Day. And he's recording one right now that you can tune in and listen to. Those are available, as I said, on cannabisculture.com, but also on YouTube here on Pot TV Network. So stay tuned to that, because Marc is trying to keep in touch while he still can. Now, another thing people have been doing is going to their Member of Parliament offices to protest. And I have a wonderful new assistant, Mandy Potter, who you've seen in the reality check videos. And she's been a fantastic help in organizing everyone together to have little events and spread the word. And people are buying free Marc shirts, free Marc buttons. There's many different ways you can help. And you can even donate, because quite frankly, we're just a regular business and Marc never saved anything, and the government would have taken it anyway. So Marc is not working anymore, and the government wants to take 150% of his wages for owed back taxes, just because of the raid of the seed business. And so Marc will need money to help pay for his phone calls, to help pay for his lawyers. We do need help. So you can donate at cannabisculture.com/store in the free Marc section, where you can also get t-shirts and hoodies and posters and other things, even signed by Marc. So please help out there where you can. Our store is still open. We're doing very well, keeping it going. I'm the director now, and I am going to make Marc and everyone else proud by making sure we don't give up and we don't shut down, and whatever they might throw at us, we'll make it through, like Marc always has. So on that front, I hope I'll get the business license. There's no reason we shouldn't, and we'll find out more about that in the next few months. I'm also doing a lot of activism with the Green Party. I'm the BC Green Party policing critic and Olympic critic, and of course there's a lot of things to criticize on those fronts. So I've been making it request into whether jury vetting has been going on in BC, for example, such as Ontario and Nova Scotia, where police are working to pick and choose the juries for various cases, and that's illegal, and it has happened in BC already. So as the BC Green Party policing critic, I'm working to get assurances from the Solicitor General and Attorney General that this is not happening in BC, because Canada is a democracy, supposedly, and we're apparently supposed to have impartial juries, but that's just one way that the government and the police are working together to deprive us of our rights and lock us up in cages. Since 2006, the prison budget has been doubled by the Conservative government and Mr. Stephen Harper, who run our country right now and are running our country into the ground. The enormous amount of legislation pertaining to imprisonment, mandatory minimums for drug crimes, not getting parole, not getting bail. There's all sorts of ways that they're messing around and building new prisons where you have video visits instead of in-person visits. All sorts of dehumanizing, horrible American-style facilities, and I wouldn't doubt that we'll see private prisons in Canada in the next few years if we're stuck with Stephen Harper. But you must make a fuss about this. Get out there and tell people, warn them what's going to happen, because they're not doubling the prison space for murderers or rapists. There aren't enough out there. It's going to be you, the pot grower, the person who sells a bit of weed to their friend. If you get busted, because there will be more snitches and police going undercover to try and mess up your lives and make sure you're sitting in a cell so they can continue to make a buck off of you. It's sick, it's twisted, and we need to let people know. And the cost of incarceration is $101,000 for a male, $185,000 for a woman every year. And if you can imagine the amount of money going towards what may soon be here, private prisons, we will never see Canada crawl out of that hole, as America has been struggling to do so for so long. So please write to your Member of Parliament, call into a radio show if you want to be anonymous. You don't need to use your real name. Talk to your friends and neighbors and workers and just warn them, because everybody knows someone who smokes pot, and therefore they know someone who sells a bit of pot. And those people are going to lose their houses, lose their jobs, have everything stolen by asset forfeiture, be forced to pay taxes on supposed drug dealing revenue, and be locked up if they fail to do so. We're in a dark period here, and Marc going south, you know, America is starting to have some shining spots, and we hope to see more changes for better in America. It's looking a lot more positive there than it is here. So perhaps Chris Bennett, our friend, is right when he says Marc Emery is the seed that the enemy has swallowed, but he will overgrow, and we'll all be free. So do what you can to help. We have a lot of tough times ahead, but we'll get through it if we band together, because we're on the side of good and they're on the side of evil. And cannabis is the tree of life, and we will be saved if we fight for it. Peace and pot, no more drug war, and free Marc Emery.
It's simply business.